Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. Hope everyone's doing well. Tuesday, July the 29th, I was golfing this morning, and when I got home at 11:30, it was 37 degrees centigrade. Way too hot for me. I felt pretty wobbly on the last few holes of the course, to be honest with you. And that's my excuse anyhow. My playing partner asked me on the last par 4, had I shot a 5 for bogey or 6. I said, buddy, I can't remember, don't care. You can give me a 5.5 or not. Anyways, to boxing. This is an unusual video to make. Normally, if we were talking about a professional heavyweight boxer with a record of 9-1-1, we would not be saying for a moment anything about retirement. We would be like, oh, young up-and-comer, maybe a prospect. We wouldn't be talking about retirement. Even if the boxer is 33 years of age, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Surely not. But I am starting this conversation because that's what this is. It's not just me sort of lecturing. This is really, hopefully, a conversation. And the boxer that I'm talking about is none other than the British, he will be a contender for the British heavyweight title, Frazer Clarke, or Big Fraze, as he's often known. Now, Frazer Clarke is amongst, in my view, one of the nicest, most decent heavyweight boxers that I can think of, really. I think of him in more ways than one, similarly to Joe Joyce, a seemingly really decent guy. Why am I talking about retirement? Well, let me back up the bus a bit, because the professional record of 9-1-1 doesn't really capture the totality of Frazer Clarke's boxing career. I took a peek at his amateur record. 64 wins, 25 losses. According to BoxRec, that's a lot of fights. Now, I know they don't do 12 or rounders, whatever, but it's still a lengthy amateur career. In fact, Frazer Clarke was kind of unlucky not to go to the Olympics in 2016. Joe Joyce beat him out. Joe Joyce ended up getting a silver medal. Frazer Clarke stayed in the amateurs. Many people, I think, in that set of circumstances would have said, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go and be a pro. And now we'd be talking about a 10-year pro. But anyhow, Frazer Clarke stayed in the amateurs. In 2017, he won a European silver medal. In 2018, he got Commonwealth gold. And in 2020, the delayed Olympics, he got Olympic bronze. So an absolutely stellar amateur career. Really, one of the best, right? Anyhow, he transitions into the pro game, and he's doing really well. And then he has this draw, a real war of a fight with none other than the former white-collar fighter, one of my favourite fighters, Fabio Wardley. And they really went at it, hammer and tongs. And in fact, many people said they should avoid each other. They shouldn't have a rematch because those kind of fights, they age you, right? Well, they had a rematch. And Frazer Clarke suffered one of the most devastating knockouts that I think you're likely to see. It's so devastating. It looked like he had a stroke, and his head, part of his head, was caved in. I mean, it was a first round. What is the right word? A first round slaughter. And I thought, oh my God, I thought that's a career ender. Well, Frazer Clarke has had a comeback fight. He beats Ebenezer Tetteh, and now he's scheduled for the British heavyweight title fight, which British heavyweight title is vacant because David Adelaide has gone on to other things. And indeed, as did Frazer, Fabio Wardley previously. So Frazer Clarke is scheduled to fight Jamie TKV. But I was wondering, is it really time for him to hang it up? Like, I've looked at that injury again, and I'm sure that the doctors will be saying, oh, no, you're fine. Like, obviously they wouldn't license him if he wasn't fine. But it's just something in my tummy that tells me he's such a decent guy. Does he really need to do this? No, of course, I have no idea what his finances are like, right? None whatsoever. And it might be that he's saying, look, I need to make the money, right? I've not made big money in the past. I mean, I suspect that the biggest money he made was probably in the Fabio Wardley fights. And I've no idea, well, I guess I could figure it out. But I don't know what money he's made. You know, he's probably not a rich man. He might be comfortable, but he's probably not rich, and he's probably thinking, well, you know, I've still got hunger for the thing. Obviously, like, it takes boxing very seriously. This isn't some sort of dilettante. But from a health perspective, what do you think? Do you think you want to see Frazer Clarke carrying on? I mean, has anybody noticed that his speech is also not quite what it was? Maybe I'm wrong on this. I am not saying that I definitively have noticed a difference. But in a couple of recent interviews, when he was actually talking about the fight with TKV, the upcoming fight, I thought, we're not talking about Derek Chisora level or Joe Joyce level of speech sort of slurring, but I thought there was something. And I'm wondering, after that almost catastrophic knockout, against Fabio Wardley, is Frazer Clarke okay? And should Frazer Clarke carry on fighting? Let me know in the comment section what you think. I mean, nobody wants to tell somebody, oh, you should pull the pin because we're sort of slightly concerned about you. But on the other hand, nobody wants to see him suffer a debilitating injury. You know, is there any weakness there? Is there, like, we don't know, right? You know, the brain's a complicated thing. We're complicated animals. And it's just something in my tummy tells me that I'd be far happier if Frazer Clarke was to bow out and say, you know what, I've had a nice career, had a stellar amateur career. Maybe he can get a job in, you know, boxing broadcasting, for example. I'm sure that the money is not bad. You know, is it millions? Probably not. Would it be, you know, a couple of $100 grand? Quite possibly. That's a lot more than many of us make, right? So anyhow, I'm a little bit worried. Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.